Good morning. Hey, you guys. Uh, I'm sitting in my brother Bob's uh, front yard, and it's a beautiful morning on Vancouver Island. We're in Campbell River, and wow, the wind is blowing in off the ocean. He's right on the ocean. I'm looking at Quadra Island. So we're on the South Island Highway, it's called, and his home's right on the ocean, like literally. It's just the highway between us and the water, so there's a little noise. Hopefully, let me know if you can hear me. I'm hoping it's not that the background noise is not too crazy. We got the city workers over here, and with their doing their gardening and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you can hear me. Welcome to our daily reading. I've been doing a reading from the 24-hour-a-day book on a daily basis. Today I'm a little late. Usually I try to do it around 9 in the morning Mountain Time, and so we're way past that today. But Bobby and I had a real quiet morning, and his place is so quiet that I had a little sleep in. It was great. So what came up for me is this morning. It's interesting. A friend of mine called from my men's team, and we talked for a while. And he's a very, very conscious, awake fella, and we talked about how easy it is to be stuck in judgment, and that judgment is, actually we've been taught actually to be judgmental. We've been given a set of standards, whether they're from our religion, a set of standards from our social economic where we live, and we've been given a set of standards, and we grew up with them, and so we judge each other, and we judge life as it comes to us. We have a tendency to look at things as good or bad, and or right or wrong, and we want to have, in our life, we just want to have good stuff. So if we're judging, it's really interesting. We find that if most of us, our experience is that if we judge something as bad that happened to us, some months, weeks, days later, we'll look at it and say, well, actually, that wasn't so bad after all. I'm sure glad that happened. Like for me with addiction and alcoholism, as many of us on the planet would think that's a bad thing. That's like, oh my gosh, poor whoever, who's afflicted with that. And most of us in recovery, if not all of us who actually have recovery, recognize that it's the best thing. It's just like, wow, I've discovered that I had alcoholism, and that it actually affected my thinking. And one of the fundamental things with the practicing alcoholic is judging. Judges himself, judges those around him, and it separates us from the world. It separates us from God, actually, because God is the world. God either is or he isn't. He's either everything or he's nothing. So he's not some separate thing that we have to do or be good, to have access to. We have automatic access to. We deny ourselves, though, because of our judgment, and because of our judgment on ourselves, or judgment on people around us. So that's all. I just wanted to just throw that out there. Watch. Awareness is power. Awareness is power. Awareness is connection. And if I see myself in judgment, the trick is to just let go of it. Just, oh, okay, what do I know? I don't know anything. In the big picture, I don't know. So if I'm judging you or judging anything, I don't know, so just to settle down and relax and recognize that we don't know, and so we can't, but when the judgment comes up, you know, and it comes in many forms. When fear comes up, fear is a judgment as well. Comes in many forms. Let it go. Just there it is. Let it go. And we practice that. And the more we practice that, the more we start to live in a state of bliss. The more we start to live in a state of peace, because we're not full of the emotion that comes from judgment. So that's it. That was just my little bit. And it seems like we talk about the same things over and over again, but it really is there isn't some thing that's terribly different. If we could just get that would be freedom. If we could just be free of judgment, that would be freedom. So play in that arena for a while, like a child learning to walk. I love this analogy. I'm going to use it a lot. A little baby infant learning to walk, might fall down 30 or 40 times in a day, but he gets up every time. We'll be like that with judgment, with seeing things as right or wrong or good or bad, and the getting up is letting go. So every time we judge on ourselves or we judge on others, I just surrender it, let it go. That's the same as the child getting up. And eventually, we can be upright, we can be aware, we can be conscious, and the need to judge just disappears. It can disappear, and we can live in a free state of peace and bliss. So that's my piece today, you guys. I'm going to do the reading. Hopefully you can hear me. It's Bob, who's sitting next to me, said, say hi, Bob. There he is. There's Bob sitting with me this morning, and Bob said he's never seen it this noisy. It's crazy. But the trick is to accept it. Say, okay, this is it. Here we are. Breathe it in, enjoy the moment, and let go of maybe I can't be heard. Maybe that's a metaphor. I was actually talking to Barry this morning, and I look back over my life and I think of how many teachers tried to tell me and teach me what I just shared right now, and I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I just was looking for this peace somewhere else. I didn't realize that I had the key, and so maybe the wind and the noise is a metaphor. It's not always easy to hear that we have the key to the door. We do. So June 30th, thought for the day from this book was written in 1954 by a member of the time of Alcoholics Anonymous. There wasn't really any NA or CA or, at that time, the 12-step program was only, not even 20 years old in 54. And a member wrote this book, and it's a beautiful little book. And it's not necessarily AA literature. But many AAs have read it for years and gotten a lot from it, So it says, an alcoholic is unable or unwilling during his addiction to alcohol to live in the present. By the way, judgment, right and wrong, good and bad, takes us out of the present. The result is that he lives in a constant state of remorse and fear because of his unholy past and his morbid attraction or the uncertain future. Let me try that again. The result is he lives in a constant state of remorse and fear because of his unholy past and its morbid attraction, or the uncertain future and its vague forebodings. So the only real hope for the alcoholic is to face the present. Now is the time. Now is ours. The past is beyond recall. The future is as uncertain as life itself. Only the now belongs to us. Am I living in the now? So every time I catch myself in judgment, I'm there present right now. That's one of the things that brings us into the now. And every time a fear comes up and I catch it, oh, look at that. I'm then present because I've seen the fear. Every time anger comes up and I catch it, oh, look, I see it, I'm then aware, I'm then conscious, I'm then in the now. So being in the now is not some mystical thing. It really is. Another way to be here, more present, is with the breath. So if we're sitting somewhere and we're focusing on our breath, and as the breath comes into our lungs, we are here now. Also in meditation, if there's a lot of noise, you can use the noise to bring us into the moment. Be aware of the noise, be aware of the sounds. It's just, wow, the wind is blowing in the trees. It's quite cool, isn't it? Hi, look at that. Chris McElwain. Hey, buddy, there's your brother Bob. Look at that. And we're out on the, that's the front of his place right here. Look at that. What a beautiful gift to have two brothers here today. Isn't that? That's pretty cool. Hey, buddy. Say hello. Type in there. Say hello, hello, hello. Love you. So cool that you dropped in. So I'm reading from this 24-hour day book that I read from, and I read the thought for the day, and yeah, he's watching. Yeah, Chris.
Call me Chris?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Hey, buddy. Just type in hello. Say hello, hello. We go back a long way, my brother Chris and I. Right? Yeah.
We all do.
We all do, yeah. Okay, now we're going to read the meditation of the day. In this little book, the meditation for the day, I must forget the past as much as possible. The past is water over the dam. Nothing can be done about the past, except to make what restitution I can. I must not carry the burden of my past failures. I must go on in faith. The clouds will clear and the way will lighten. The path will become less stony with every forward step I take. Amen. God has no reproach for anything that He has healed. I can be made whole and free, even though I have wrecked my life in the past. Remember the saying, neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. That's the deal, the divine idea of no judgment. No judgment. Neither do I condemn thee, go and sin no more. So we can have that, we can have that freedom in our own. We can see ourselves as, being who we are. When I think the Dalai Lama talks a lot about compassion, the huge compassion that comes from really that no matter what we did in our past, no matter what has been done to us or we feel was done to us, came out of ignorance generally, out of ignorance. And so compassion for that ignorance. Ignorance means that we don't know really who we are and how connected we are to love and God, and how we see ourselves as very small, and we're not. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not carry the burden of the past. I pray that I may cast it off and press on in faith. I pray that I may cast it off and press on in faith. And that's the deal. That's the deal. We can be free, and freedom is in the moment. Freedom is free of judgment. Free is, free of anger, free of fear. Is as these things come up, we just ask in each moment for God to remove them. God, remove my fear. God, remove my anger. Show me what you'd have me to be. And that can happen. Ivan, hi buddy. I'm just wrapping up. We're sitting on the this is the South Highway, South Island. South Island Highway. My brother Bob lives right on the South Island Highway, right across from Quadra Island. It's gorgeous. It's a bit windy and beautiful. You can just hear the wind in the trees, eh? Hi Tessa. Hi love. We're just wrapping up, hon. So thanks for popping in. We were a little late today. So love you guys, and I better go. This is my brother Bob, and actually my brother Chris is watching. I think that's so cool. Chris, just say something. What do I got to do to get you to say hello? Hello, hello. Okay, love you guys, and Ivan, thanks for dropping in. Tessa, and anybody else that came through, love it. Remember, we're ambassadors of love. It's not just that we find this peace for ourselves, but we find this peace in this love to share with others. There is a purpose. Pass it on, pass it on. Living happy, joyous, and free. Okay. Amen. I got an amen from my brother Bob. Amen. Okay, here we go.